Red eye.
Ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 14th episode of the Backburners. I'm Sam Tiller.
And I'm Dylan Sherman. Thank you for joining us for your favorite hour of the week.
And, of course, our wonderful producer, Fabio, is here.
You.
Thanks for having us yet again for the 14th week in a row. So, this is mainly a sports podcast hosted by two former jocks who suffer from CTE. Whether it's outrageous hot takes, misinformed analysis of games and players, or off-topic discussions, we are the ones to do it. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Backburners Pod, and make sure you listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, or Apple Pods, baby.
Oh, yeah?
I was trying to avoid that.
Well, it's unavoidable at this point.
Okay.
You've taken my intro. You've usurped it.
You offered it to me, and I jumped on it. Like, I'm not going to say it.
Good.
But I think it was fantastic.
It was good. It was good.
Thanks.
You know, it was good.
Thank you. Let's get into I Disagree.
It's my prompt this week. It's a good one. And it's something that people are really hot and cold on. And I thought it'd be interesting to kind of talk about. Should steroid users be allowed in the Baseball Hall of Fame? And I specify baseball just because it's mainly the one league that everyone is, that when you think of steroid use in the Hall of Fame, you think of baseball.
Yeah.
So I think that they should let them in. And I have a few reasons. So baseball is different from a lot of other sports because I feel like in baseball, steroids don't give a baseball player that incredible advantage. Listen to me. Listen to me. Just listen to me.
Outrageous.
The key factors that determine the success of a baseball player's ability and performance don't have everything to do with steroids. So a batter's ability to identify a pitch and its rotation or the way a pitcher places a pitch, that has nothing to do with strength, and that's what steroids do. Baseball players, it's all about science and repetition, mental fortitude, being able to identify it. Baseball is way more of a mental sport than it is a physical sport. And as a hitter, even though you do take steroids, you still have to know how to locate the ball, and you still have to have a good enough swing to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Okay? Don't look at me like that. If a pitcher takes steroids, he might be able to throw the ball faster, but he still has to have the skill enough to control it and place it.
Right. So if you develop that skill when you are young and, you know, you're in middle school and high school and you're developing your craft to get your fastball down, then when you get into the pros, you already have the technique down. And if you're not a big league guy, maybe you're in like AAA or something, because maybe you have great ball placement, but you just don't have the velocity. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, everything else is there. The technique's there. It's just I don't have the velocity off the ball. I'm going to take steroids. Like, how is that fair to somebody else who was maybe in the, you know, minors before them or at the same time as them and didn't take steroids and never got their shot at the big leagues? Here's the thing. When you use, because steroids are PEDs.
Yeah.
Performance-enhancing drugs. So even if it is a mental game, there's still a big physical aspect, and it's cheating. You are enhancing your body to perform better than your competition. There's a reason Barry Bonds hit like 750 home runs. And it's not because he had the best swing of all time in baseball. It's because he was juicing.
That is stupidity. He had one of the greatest swings in baseball history. Are you gonna? And most of his home runs were out of the fucking park. So
because he was juicing.
Because you're gonna tell me that by him taking steroids, it was gonna add hundreds of feet to the ball. It was gonna maybe call it 100 feet from from the beginning of the grandstands to outside the park, you're really going to tell me that the steroids push the ball that amount of feet? Or were you saying, no, you're so wrong. You're saying baseball. No, fuck you. I'm so angry you just said that.
Here's the thing. You're so mad right now that you can't even speak in like form sentences.
I'm angry because you have just disrespected one of the greatest baseball players of all time. You cannot say that steroids added so much distance to his balls that they miraculously went out of the park.
Then why isn't he in the Hall of Fame?
Because apparently the Major League Baseball is the moral arbiter of what is right and what is wrong. What's up, Trev?
You guys want to hear some science?
Yes, please.
So in September of 2007, physicist Roger Tobin of Tufts University in Boston said that steroids could help baseball players hit up to 50% more home runs by boosting their muscle mass by just 10%.
Thank you, Trav.
I mean, that wasn't me. That's just science.
That's just science.
I mean, that's also the first thing that came up when I Googled how much do steroids actually help baseball players. So, I mean, I wouldn't call my research like backed by anything per se, but
so instead of 750 home runs, Barry Bonds would have hit 375, and he would not even be considered for the Hall of Fame. Fuck! Yeah, you're wrong. I can't. Like, when you asked me what I thought about it, I was like, no, they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. And then you're like, all right, let's do it. I was shocked that you were taking the position of they should be in the Hall of Fame. I was shocked.
I should. The steroid era in baseball was from the mid 80s to about the early 2000s, and Major League Baseball banned PEDs in 1991, I believe, and then they didn't start league-wide testing until I think about 2003. So in that time span, pretty much fucking everybody was probably taking them because they weren't testing league-wide.
Okay, then it's fair because everybody's taking them.
Right. I think that the steroid era is a part of the history of baseball, and it should be remembered. Listen, I'm not saying that taking PEDs is good. I'm not going to. Maybe, you know what? Here's an idea. Why don't you and I, since we have similar statures, you and I should both take PEDs.
No.
I'm so with this.
You shut it down. No, you didn't even let me finish my thought.
Okay. Like kickball or something.
Well, I was thinking more just take PEDs for a few months and do like
40-yard dash.
We could do like the NFL Combine and see who's better, who has the better physical attributes.
Who PEDs helped more?
Yeah. Why don't we? I mean, we would be doing an experiment. We would be doing something for the scientific community.
I don't know if either of you guys could afford the shrinkage, though.
Here's the thing. If you want to buy the steroids for me, I'm all for it, but I'm not spending money on steroids.
You can legally buy steroids, right?
Yeah, I know, but they're expensive.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool that you can like take the same steroids that Barry Bonds took. Like, you can just buy those. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can. So here's another question. Do you think that like pitchers, I don't know, it's a different question, but should pitchers be allowed to use that like sticky tack shit for better grip on the baseball when they're throwing to make them better at pitching? Because that's a hot topic in baseball right now because they just banned it.
Well, because it wasn't banned up until very recently,
like
right?
A couple months ago. It's cheating.
It's cheating, but it also, I guess everybody's done it. And I think there was a pitcher, I can't remember who it was, but maybe it was for the Royals or something. He went on a giant rant on ESPN, and he was talking about how pitchers have been using, I think it's called spider tack or something like that. It's the substance. And everybody, essentially since like high school and college, have been using it, and they become accustomed to pitching a certain way with the way they're holding the ball and how it releases out of their hand. And now since they banned it, a bunch of pitchers got hurt because they were so used to the way that it felt in their hands and how they released it. They're getting way more injured. I don't think it should be banned. I think that if everybody's using it and it was like such a known thing, and now the MLB is just cracking down on it. Like, why now?
Because they're trying to make baseball more exciting. Because let's be honest, baseball, it's not an exciting sport. And when you have, 15, 20 pitchers in the big leagues who have ERAs under 1, like that's just boring baseball to watch. And so they want to increase the number of hits, more hits, more runs, more exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think in the case of that, I think most players weren't happy about it. Most pitchers weren't happy about it.
A bunch of hitters were stoked.
Well, I'm sure they were, but I guess that's I think they should be in. Some of the greatest players of all time use steroids. Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Roger Clemens, and they're all blackballed from the Hall of Fame. Some of the greatest players of all time.
Why do you think they were some of the greatest players of all time?
Because they were really good at baseball.
You're just wrong. Okay. Line of the week. Who do you got?
Line of the week. Ooh. I have LSU -3 versus UCLA. UCLA had a pretty damn good showing against Hawaii last week.
But it's Hawaii.
I know, but I was really impressed with their running back, Zach Charbonnet.
Mm-hmm.
He had a mini Marshawn Lynch touchdown. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't think I did.
He broke like 6 tackles and ran for like a 40-yard touchdown. He's going to be a great player. He's going to be somebody to look out for in the Pac-12, I think. LSU, they had a really disappointing year last year. It was the first time they didn't make it to a bowl game since 1999.
Yeah,
so I think
they were not good.
No, they were not good. I think they had a major hangover from the year before with Joey B. But I think that's a safe line. I think anytime you pit an SEC school against a middling Pac-12 school, I'm going to side with the SEC. I think -3 is a pretty safe bet. I think LSU takes it.
Yeah, I like that pick. I got UCF -5 against Boise State. I don't think Boise State is, I know Boise State is not the caliber of program they used to be. That might change here shortly with Avalos coming in because he is a fantastic recruiter. But as of this year, they're not the same. And I think that UCF is at least a touchdown better than Boise State. And you have to go to Central Florida, and that's a tough place to play. They have some passionate fans down there at UCF.
It's long travels.
Long travels
for Boise State.
Yeah, the game's at 5, so like the time's not like a big deal. But I definitely think UCF is a touchdown better, at least, than Boise State.
Yep. I think that game comes down to conditioning because
it's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be swampy. I agree with you. I think UCF is at least a touchdown better. So we'll see. We got the Andy Avalos era starting here in Boise. It's a great test.
Yeah.
Great test.
Yeah. Boise State's got a tough first couple games, UCF and then Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
They could potentially start out 0-2, which sucks, but it takes time.
It does.
Most exciting game. So it's obviously college football opening weekend starting on Thursday. I can't wait. There's a bunch of good games. So what's your most exciting? Let's do most exciting and then honorable mention.
Okay. My most exciting game, there's no question, Georgia Clemson. JT Daniels versus DJ Uiagalelei. You like that pronunciation game?
Yeah, it was fire.
Uiagalelei. This game is going to be one in the trenches because Georgia just revamped their offensive line. Clemson's defense is insane. I think that Clemson's going to have a better day in the air, and Georgia's going to be able to run the ball really, really well. I think this game comes down to a late turnover committed by DJ, and
wow.
Georgia takes it 26-23.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think game day is going to be in Clemson, I think.
Is it in Clemson or is it the kickoff game in
Dallas?
In Dallas?
It might be. I don't know. It is going to be a great game. My game of the weekend, it's not football. It is football. It's
The real football?
It is international soccer. We got the first round of World Cup qualifying, the first window of international play this fall. We got the USA versus El Salvador on Thursday at 8, and then the USA versus Canada on Sunday. And they're going to be great games. It's a big moment for U.S. soccer to get back into the World Cup qualifying because we did not qualify for the World Cup back in 2017. So to get this started again is exciting. I cannot wait for over the next 7 months. They are going to be playing 14 games. It's in 5 different windows. They don't have games in December or February, but God, it's going to be fun to watch them compete to try to go to a World Cup, and I think they will. They're a top 10 team in the world. Like I said, they should be a couple weeks ago. It's time. It's now or never. Qualify for that goddamn World Cup.
Who's your honorable mention?
Ohio State versus Minnesota on Thursday night. It's at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. That's a great game. Minnesota.
It is.
I'm surprised Minnesota isn't ranked in the preseason poll.
They're not?
No, they are not. Ohio State's number 4. I think Ohio State's going to dominate this game. I think they probably win by 2 touchdowns. But the game is in Minnesota. It is a tough place to play, and opening it up against a conference opponent away is not easy. It's going to be a test for Ohio State. I think it's going to be a very entertaining game on Thursday.
Okay. My honorable mention, another Big Ten conference opener. The number 12 Wisconsin Badgers hosting number 19 Penn State. It's interesting they're doing conference rivals.
Yeah, week 1.
Yeah. Interesting.
I like it, though.
It's fun. It's definitely. I hate the 3 games in the beginning of the season. You're playing like North Dakota, Southwestern Tech, State. It's just like it's not exciting.
It's just the first couple weeks are usually boring football. Like you do have an occasional great game like Georgia Clemson this year, but it's usually a bunch of powerhouses just slaughtering these non-Power 5 teams because they want like a warm-up game, and it's boring football to watch.
Yeah, and those small schools are getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah,
to go to these big schools and get their arse beat.
Yeah,
I think that's a tough one to call. Wisconsin's favored by 5.5. I like that.
Penn State was so bad last year, though. They disappointed.
I didn't pay much attention to them last year.
They were garbage.
Which is, I guess, proving your point. They weren't very good. But it'll be a fun one to watch. I think all the games on Saturday are going to be overshadowed by Georgia Clemson.
Yeah, because everybody's just going to be looking forward to that game.
Yeah. And that's at, 5:30? The
5:30.
ABC primetime?
Yeah, ABC primetime.
I'm just so excited. We've been waiting 6 months for this.
Yeah. And it's not just that football's back. It's we get full stadiums. And we had football last year, but it's not the same when you don't have 80,000 crazy college fans just going berserk. The student sections, just all the whole atmosphere around college football is so superior to anything else we have in the United States. And God, I cannot wait. This is one of the most anticipated college football seasons, I think, in a long time because of the fact that there were no fans last year. Everybody's so excited to get back into stadiums with fans.
Yeah, and it'll be exciting. I mean, this year, at least in college ball, who's going to be the king, right? There's no Mac Jones. There's no Trevor Lawrence. There's no Justin Fields. There's no killer quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say Spencer Rattler's probably the most popular right now. He's probably got the hottest stock. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of open season.
It is.
Which is exciting because I hate every year when one of those blue bloods have a Trevor Lawrence that they come back year after year and they just do the same thing that they've been doing. But this year it's different, and it's exciting, and I love it, and I love football, and I'm so happy, and it's cold enough to where I can wear pants again. I'm a little happy boy.
It's also going to be interesting because you're going to have kids in college who have never played in front of a full stadium.
Ooh, that's a good point.
And so, like, if you could have, is Spencer Rattler sophomore, junior this year? I think he's a junior. But anyway, I mean, you're going to have sophomore quarterbacks.
He's a sophomore.
So he's never played in front of a full stadium. He's never been in a true college atmosphere. That's going to shake a lot of guys because they're not used to it. When you go from high school into college, the atmosphere is so different.
What did they even do last year? Like, how did the season work out?
It was so different.
It was really
it was in the spring, right?
No, it was in the fall. It was so like each conference did their own thing. So like the SEC said fuck it and played a whole schedule, but then like the Pac-12 and the Big Ten played like an abbreviated 6-game schedule. It was just weird. But basically nobody had fans. There were like limited capacity crowds, but it was nothing even close to full capacity.
Yeah, the Pac-12 had a pretty rough. About this time last year, maybe a month prior, they originally were thinking of canceling. The season was gonna be on, and then they canceled it.
They canceled like the non-conference games, and then they canceled the whole season.
Right.
And then like mid-September, they're like, we're gonna play 6 games.
Yeah, and then a bunch of games got canceled, and that's what led Oregon to the Pac-12 championship with a record of 4-3.
Yep.
Which, I mean, they did win the Pac-12 last year, but I mean,
Damn
can
right.
you really?
Back-to-back champs, baby. It's about to be a 3-peat in the Pac-12.
You want to turn Miles' mic on there for a sec? You ready? You ready to defend your Trojans?
Fuck the Trojans.
Corey Foreman. That's all I got to say.
Oh, my God. Kayvon Thibodeau, he's better. So
No, he's not.
he's going to win the Heisman.
He's a high recruit.
They both were number one.
Yeah, they were both number
both
one.
The number they give him.
Oh, like their composite number?
Yep. Better quarterback.
No.
Way better quarterback.
What's his name? Something.
Keaton Slovis.
Keaton Slovis, yeah.
He's a bum.
And this new rookie tight end we got, I'm blanking on his name. I showed you a video of him the other week.
He's big.
He's a beast.
He's a stud.
Trojans are winning.
USC is going to be very good this year.
They are.
They're not like all the way back to where USC was in the early 2000s, but they're getting there.
You know what's great though is that the Pac-12 South is going to beat the shit out of each other before the Pac-12 championship. So Utah, Arizona State, SC, have fun.
Happens every year.
Listen, UCLA, I think, is going to be much improved. I'm not a big fan of DTR, but
their running back, Zach Charbonnet, is impressive.
No, he's good. And look, Chip Kelly is a great coach. No matter what anybody says about him, the man knows how to coach football. So I think UCLA is going to be vastly improved this year. They weren't like horrible last year. They were beating USC by like 14 points with like 5 minutes left in the game, and then they just shit the bed and collapsed. USC should have lost that game.
They should have lost I think there was 3 super close games last year, but it's just coaching. USC's coaching staff is terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
Clay Helton is not great.
Clay Helton sucks.
So glad they brought him back.
With a coach, you guys would not have won the last 2 years in the Pac-12. With a coach.
With a coach?
I mean,
We have a coach.
We have a coach. His name is Mario Cristobal.
No, if USC had a coach.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, I guess we can't go back in time and change things, can we? You dirty Trojan.
So basically what you're saying is they're not going to win it again this year either.
Because they don't have a coach.
They have a lot more talent, though. A lot more.
But your point was that they won't be able to win if they don't have a coach. And they don't have a coach. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
The talent will get them there, though.
I guess
if they can get this close with their coach, then the talent will just put them over the edge.
I guess I'm hoping for a rematch.
I am too.
That's the rematch that we deserve.
That's the game that everybody wants to see in the Pac-12 championship too, is Oregon versus USC. that's always the game that everybody wants to see.
I have a quick question for you guys.
Mhm.
Yeah.
An undefeated Pac-12 champion, do they make the playoffs?
Yes. 100%.
Yes, if it's SC or Oregon, because I don't know. Do you know USC's non-conference schedule? I guess I can look it up, but if Oregon
San Jose, I think.
if Oregon can beat Ohio State September 12th or September 11th, I mean, that's a pretty good resume, especially if they go undefeated. Or maybe, even if,
Well,
I don't know.
here's the thing: is there's always like one or two conference champions who are one loss. Like even Alabama, they occasionally lose a game every year, once a year, and then Ohio State they play a tough schedule. So if one of the five has a one-loss champion, and then you have the Pac-12 sitting out there with an undefeated champion, it's impossible to keep them out. They're undefeated.
SC has a really interesting schedule. They open against San Jose State, and they go right into conference play against Stanford, and they're all conference games until October 23rd when they have their game with Notre Dame,
Which they'll probably lose.
That's an interesting
That game's
schedule.
in South Bend too.
It is in South Bend.
That's not an easy place to play.
No. But there we go. College football is back. I'm a happy little man.
We got less than 48 hours till college football kicks off.
Oh,
I can't wait to wake up on Saturdays at 6 a.m. and watch game day.
it's going to be a beautiful thing.
So exciting.
You want to talk about some most likelies?
Sure.
What do you got for me?
So Cam Newton, surprise this morning, NFL cut day, Patriots cut him. I think everybody was very surprised by it. So who's going to pick him up? Who's going to sign him?
I have three possible teams, not including Sycamore High School. Thank you for that one.
Bishop Sycamore.
So Cam is 32. He was benched 3 separate times last year.
Is he really 32?
He's 32.
I did not know that.
And he's unvaccinated, which could be kind of troublesome for some teams.
Don't even get me started on that.
We're not going there. I'm just
my
saying
God.
that the way the NFL is set up right now with their vaccination policy, he's unvaccinated, which could make him troublesome for some teams. The question is there a market for him? I don't think as a starter, but as a valuable backup, absolutely. I think 2 out of 3 teams are in the NFC East. The first one, the Dallas Cowboys. Dak
I
is
definitely see
injured,
that.
and there is no talent behind Dak.
No, and they cut Ben DiNucci today as well.
Yeah, so Dak's injury history coupled with high school quarterbacks playing behind him, I think that's probably a good place for him. Another interesting place is the football team, the Washington football team.
Then they would are you saying they'd carry 3 quarterbacks?
Yep. So they're sticking with Fitz right now. They have
Yep.
Taylor Heineke. Bring Cam Newton in there, reunite with Ron Rivera, the man who turned him into an MVP.
I don't think him and Ron get along though. Weren't they kind of like tired of each other by like the end of their tenure in Carolina?
I don't know. Checks out though.
Because Ron Rivera is like such a no bullshit kind of guy that Cam brings a lot of bullshit and baggage to the table.
Yeah, but he brought him a lot of success.
Yeah, sure. But do you want that headache in your locker room?
It's a tough question. I just put it on there just because like their quarterback situation is kind of up in the. It's all dependent on when Fitzmagic is going to hit. Right? Is it going to start in the beginning of the season? Is it going to happen in the middle? That's a big question. And my last team is Denver. I know they just named Teddy Bridgewater the starter, but jury's still out on him. I do like him. He's a really good game manager, great guy, really likable, horrible injury history.
Yeah. He's just super vanilla.
I would say French vanilla. Still vanilla, but it's good. Like it's good vanilla.
Yeah, it's good enough to win you games, but it's not good enough to win you a Super Bowl.
Not elite talent. And behind him, Drew Lock, who clearly is not the answer because he lost his job.
Yeah,
Teddy Bridgewater.
I know Broncos fans are upset about it because they want, like, the jury's still out on Drew Lock. And if he's not the answer, Teddy Bridgewater isn't the answer either. So why not just try to tank and then get a quarterback in the draft?
Yeah. I like the move that the Patriots did, and that's the only time I'll ever compliment them. Because I think we talked about a few weeks ago how I think it's really stupid when teams do that, when they draft a guy in the top 15 and then have him sit behind quarterbacks that aren't that good.
Yeah.
Or the talent disparity isn't that much different. The only exceptions are, if, with Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Brett Favre, or, somebody who is sitting behind a player who's a perennial talent like a Russ or an Aaron Rodgers or a Brady, a Manning, a Breeze. If you draft a guy in the top 15, you are expecting him to play. So why would you have him sit behind somebody who he's maybe not better than, but maybe just as good? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
get it.
I don't really understand it, and I think the Patriots probably made a smart move. I'm surprised they cut Cam Newton. I'm surprised they didn't just name Mac the starter and keep Cam as a backup.
Yeah,
but I think maybe Cam is maybe too prideful to be a backup, but that's probably going to be the case. Wherever he goes,
there isn't a starting role for him in the NFL.
Right.
There's just
not right now.
No, not right now. He proved last year that he's no longer a starting quarterback in the league. He's had too many injuries to be the big brute force that he was running the football early in his career, and he's never had the arm talent to complete over 50% of his passes. So he's just not a starter anymore in the league, and if he wants to continue his NFL career, it's going to have to be as a backup.
Yeah, he's probably going to have to sign like a 1-year team-friendly deal.
That's what he signed with the Patriots, and they still released him.
I think I think Cowboys would be the favorite.
That's where I think he's going to go.
Yeah,
because they have Dak, and then they have Cooper Rush, and they cut DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci.
Yeah, so yeah, Cowboys makes sense, and it would be so Jerry-like to do something like that.
And even more of a reason to hate them.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
What is most likely to happen? 2 SEC schools get into the playoff, or 1 non-Power 5 team?
So here's the scenario I see playing out. For 2 SEC teams to make the playoff, here's what has to happen. Alabama has to be undefeated going into the SEC championship game. And so does somebody else in the East. The West. No, East. And I think this year it's going to be Georgia. If they can get past Clemson, then they will be either undefeated or a 1-loss Eastern SEC champ, and they will play Alabama in the championship game. Then they have to beat Alabama, because if Alabama's undefeated and they lose to a number 4, 5, 6 ranked Georgia, they're not going to bump Alabama all the way out because it's Alabama. Even though they are not a conference champion, it's still Alabama. For a non-Power 5 to get in, you have to have multiple 2-loss conference champions, whether that's Ohio State, Clemson. Let's say Georgia loses 2 games. Let's say they lose to Clemson, and then they lose to, I don't know, do they play Alabama in the regular season?
Who?
Georgia. If they do, so you have to have 2 of them to be a 2-loss champion, and then a non-Power 5 team, like an undefeated Cincinnati, who is pre-ranked 8 this year. They are leaving the door open for Cincinnati to have an outside chance of getting into the playoff with that initial ranking of 8.
Georgia is not playing Alabama in the regular season.
Okay, so it's not going to happen this year. Unless the Pac-12 champion has 2 losses, the Big Ten champion has 2 losses, and like an ACC or Big 12 champion has 2 losses. There has to be 2 of the 5 that have to be 2-loss champs. And then for a non-Power 5 team to get in, like a Cincinnati, they have to go undefeated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, jury's out.
Yeah, so I think this year it's more likely that 2 SEC teams get in.
And you think it's going to be Alabama, Georgia?
Georgia would be the 2 teams that I would pick out of the SEC to get in.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're 2 of the highest ranked for sure. Because I think Georgia's 5.
Yeah, Bama's 1.
Bama's 1. I guess we'll see. And that's a beautiful part of this year, isn't it? We get to speculate about what the most fantastic thing on planet Earth, college football.
Yeah, I mean, we can always speculate about it.
But now it's here.
We've been wanting and hoping for this season to happen, and it is on our doorstep.
Oh, God, it's so good. I'm just so happy for fall to be here.
I can smell the burgers and the hot dogs, and I can hear the crack of the beer cans and the faint roar of stadiums.
The smell of the pumpkin spice lattes. Apple cider. What else is flannels?
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin
bacon
patches.
Yeah.
What else happens in the fall?
Many things.
Leaves return, or they fall off.
The crisp morning autumn air.
Sweatshirt season. Trav, is there anything else that happens in the fall that we're missing?
Halloween.
Oh, Halloween, yeah. But I mean, that's distant.
That's distant.
It's distant.
The leaves change.
Labor Day.
So
no white pants.
It gets that perfect temp outside where you can like wear a sweatshirt, but it's not like deadly cold, it's just kind of comfortable. Sometimes you get that occasional like 75, 80 degree day that just sneaks in there for some reason.
Yep.
Especially here.
Here, yeah.
And you just cherish it. You're like, yes, one more nice day before
you get one
freezing ass cold.
You get one football game in a t-shirt, and then it's kind of SOL after that.
Pretty much.
I think we're out of show.
Are we out of show?
This might be the record.
I think this is the record.
We're at 38 minutes.
Well, from here on out, we're not going to be setting any records.
No.
Because
football is back.
Football is back, and we're going to have a lot to talk about from now until February. Yeah. And that concludes another spectacular episode of the Backburners. Shout out to the ugliest co-host of all time, Pinhead Larry, and our wonderful producer, Fabio. Make sure to give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at the Backburners Pod, and listen to us on your favorite streaming service. We're the Backburners, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.